Our Wake Up anchor Daniel has had a deep appreciation for Memorial Day for as long as he can remember, thanks to his grandpa. His grandpa returned from World War II, but a friend on his ship did not, and so he passed along his appreciation for the military and sacrifices made to his whole family. So I talked to Daniel about those life lessons in this week's Teammate Convo.
My grandpa, George McGarrah, was actually a broadcast journalist, but the most important thing to him was being a veteran. That was one of the defining moments of his life. And so anytime anything comes around where we have an opportunity to celebrate veterans, my mind immediately goes to Grandpa.
So how old were you, would you say, when you started to actually understand what service in World War II would have meant for him and his friends?
I don't remember a time in my life not knowing about my grandpa being a veteran. I mean, as early in my life as I can remember, he was telling us stories about what it was like to serve. And when we were young, obviously these stories were a little more sugar-coated, and we got the full thing when we got older. But it was very clear from day one that our grandpa was someone who served his country, was very proud of it, and made a significant sacrifice. He actually was one of the folks who, you know, smudged his age. He was a little too young to get in, and he wanted to serve that bad. So
Wow.
He had to get his mom to sign a written approval for him to go eventually to the Navy.
And served in World War II.
Yeah, that's correct.
So he came back, and so I'm guessing then, as someone who returns from World War II, he had a especially deep, profound appreciation for Memorial Day. When did you become aware of that?
So Grandpa always wanted to go to whatever the Memorial Day service was. He lost one person on his ship, which in World War II is sort of a blessing to only lose one person in a group that you're with for multiple years. Yeah. But anytime he got the chance to recognize a veteran or go to an event, he wanted to. So it started out with, we'd just go to these events with Grandpa as kids. And then as he got older and maybe wasn't as comfortable driving across town to go to them, my cousin Sean or some of the other folks in my family would drive him there. And it was always so special if you got to have a one-on-one day with Grandpa at a veteran event, because you could just see how much being there and honoring these fallen soldiers meant to him.
They often say that history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And therefore, I've always found that speaking to people who have lived through parts of this history, like World War II, is so important. So what lesson do you think your grandpa would want us to have in mind this Memorial Day in 2021?
I think the most important thing for him was that folks just remember how and why we get to live in this great country that we get to live in. And so it's easy when we get separated a few generations from a major war to kind of forget the different places where we could be right now if it weren't for the people who paid the ultimate price. And so I think if there were anything, Grandpa, he was the friendliest guy ever. So what he would tell you is, if you see a veteran, say hey, thank them for their service, and let them know that you're appreciative for what they did, so that we can live the life that we live.